Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Movie Bucket here on Screen Stealers. I'm Brooke, and it's on site.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know, and you'll know more as we go. Hope you got your popcorn, a soft drink, maybe a soft pretzel, because I would like to do the normal, like, fun, playful intro today. I can't. Not for this movie. It feels wrong.
Not on today.
Not on today. I'll let you all go.
Yeah. I'll try to be a little jokey because Lord knows we need it just a little bit. Hi, I'm Eduardo, and talk about a toxic gossip train running down the
Mm.
tracks of misinformation. Lord have mercy. Lana, why? Why did you do this to me? I'll never financially recover from this. How dare you? How dare
Financially,
you?
you'll
Yeah,
never
financially,
financially recover.
yeah,
Financially, because you're gonna have to
yes.
pay for so much therapy to get over what you
Yes,
just
exactly.
yes.
I so
Yes.
many therapy sessions, and I watched this today, and I already had 5 of them. How dare you, Lana?
And hi, I'm River, and I'm ready to talk about the danger of white women tears because hello. Fanny, you
Lord.
can choke. Clap if you think she should suffer. I mean, Lana, you put us through it, but also thank you because we'll get into it. This was a extremely hard watch, but an incredible film.
Yeah.
Horrible story, incredible movie.
Hi, I'm Lana. I'm like, hey, how y'all doing?
How y'all doing?
That's how I feel like I'm walking in here after making y'all watch such a movie. I would say I'm sorry, but I'm not because this movie
Don't
was.
apologize.
I will
There's
never.
nothing to apologize for.
I would never. But yeah, I am ready to talk about this movie. I have been looking forward to this ever since I put it on the list. So I'm excited to hear the commentary of this movie.
Yeah, so in case you didn't read the title or you forgot what we said at the end of last week's video, we are talking about Rosewood from 1997, starring a bunch of really great actors: Ving Rhames, Don Cheadle, Jon Voight before he was a swear word. You know,
Esther Rolle.
Esther Rolle, Michael Rooker. Robert Patrick is in this for like 2 seconds, which kind of caught me off guard because I totally forgot about that.
Elise Neal. Oh my gosh.
A stacked cast. Let's just say it.
Absolutely.
This is
Incredible
really great.
performances.
Yeah. Quick side note before we get into the actual meat and potatoes of this movie. I just want to be clear. Robert Patrick was the guy that actually beat up Fanny, right? And like most of that shot, you don't really see him. You only really get to see his face for like 2 seconds at the very end, right? I completely forgot that Robert Patrick was in this movie because anytime I think about him in anything, it's either Terminator, because he's the T-1000 in Terminator, or I think about him as the dad in Bridge to Terabithia, which is another traumatizing movie. So, quite truly, Robert Patrick will never. Every time I see him in a movie, I need to be mentally prepared for what is to come. So thank you for ditching the movie early to give me false hope that maybe this wouldn't destroy me for the second time I watched it. But no, here we are.
Absolutely destroyed.
Yeah. So this is the third movie in our Black History Month series, this year at least. And Lana, talk to the people. Let us know why you picked it.
I picked this movie because it was a hard movie for me to watch. Well, the first time I watched it, it was hard. It's one of those movies where I literally have to mentally prepare myself to watch it. And I've had to do that for this, even today. I waited till today to watch it. And I knew about it all day, what time I was supposed to be here to record this. And I procrastinated. And I procrastinated because I just had to build myself up to watch it. This movie is based on a true story of what happened in Rosewood, Florida, where a woman decided to lie. A white woman decided to lie. Rosewood was a town full of African American people, Black people who were thriving, living their own life. They were You know, they had
owning businesses,
owning land, you know, doing what they do and thriving, and for the most part living very good with the people in the next town over. Nobody really had any issues with anybody until this woman decided to lie about being beaten and raped from a black man. And instead of finding the one man that they thought did it, they decided to destroy the whole town. And I picked this movie because it's based on a true story. This literally is history. This is what happened. This is something that happens. And as much as we want nowadays, they want to whitewash or destroy or totally disregard the history of America. That is what happened in America. This is part of the Black story. And I wanted to talk about it. I really wanted for you guys to watch it and see it and understand it. And I thought it was such a really good film. It's a John Singleton movie. And I wanted this story to be talked about. I feel like this is a story that people don't talk about. And like people talk about the movies. I've seen a lot of movie reviews online or whatever. I never see a lot of movie reviews about this movie. And so I feel like it went very underrated and it wasn't one of the popular movies. It wasn't Oscar nominated. It wasn't anything like that. It really, really got talked about. So I just wanted it to come out, and I knew I could trust you all with this movie and see what you thought about it. So I'm excited to hear everybody's thoughts.
I wonder why it didn't do as well as it should have.
Oh.
Might it be the theme or the fact that it's real and not just Anyway.
Well, I think it is important to talk about, like, Lana says she thinks it didn't do super well. It really didn't. It was technically a bomb. If you look at, like, its gross, because its budget was $17 million, it only made 13 in the box office. There have been a few different theories that have been floated around for it as to why it didn't do very well. One of the theories floated around is that it didn't get promoted very much, which, that probably didn't help. I'll just go ahead and say that. But I'm going to say Roger Ebert, my man's, I love him to death, rest in peace, King, said it's not easily summarized in ads, and it doesn't obviously appeal to either group since it documents such a depressing chapter, or it goes into something like that. Perhaps it will appeal to people looking for a well-made film that tells a gripping, important story. And, I think he hit the nail on the head.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, once again, Roger Ebert being the voice of reason among every American film critic. We love to see it. Rest in peace, King. This is a rough watch. I should mention that first time Eduardo and River have seen this. This is the second.
Probably last, but
in a while. I'm definitely need a break from watching this movie for a while. Absolutely.
This is the second time I've watched this. I watched this 20 maybe or 19. It was college. And I gotta say, the first time I watched it, I went in blind because I love Don Cheadle and I was, just wanting to watch Don Cheadle movies. And, that's a bit of a gamble because Don Cheadle has been in a lot of stuff. And if you don't look up a movie before you watch it, you will either be going into something really adorable and lovely like Hotel for Dogs, or you'll be going to Rosewood. I'll just say that.
Mm-hmm.
You never really know what you're going to get out of a movie when you just put it on. And I was not mentally prepared to watch it the first time I watched this. And I will say, just because a movie is hard to watch does not mean it's not incredible. I think this movie is powerful. I think that would probably be the adjective I could use for it. Because my normal adjectives when I talk about a movie and how much I love it, it's like, it's beautiful. No, this movie is not beautiful. This movie is not lovely. This movie is like any of the words, my normal little
It's shot well, like the cinematography of it. Like, yes, in that sense, it's beautiful, right? But
well, okay. But when I'm talking about like a beautiful movie, okay, that's like of similar high levels of quality, like Song of the Sea is a beautiful movie, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
you know, this is not a beautiful movie. This is a
Or
rough,
pleasant.
pleasant. It's not pleasant. And honestly,
No.
I don't know how you tell a story like this and make it pleasant. I think the day someone
Mhm.
tries to do that is the day we have officially lost American cinema. Um, you can't tell this story and make it pleasant. You can't. There's nothing pleasant about it. It's one of the most gut wrenching movies I think I've ever watched. I would put it up there with like Schindler's List. I would put it up there
Mhm.
with honestly, that's probably about it. Like Sophie's Choice. Like those are the only ones that I'm
Yeah.
like really considering right now because at least offhandedly, there's probably others I've seen that are around the same. The Mist, the ending of The Mist, like those movies have certain things that like smack me in it. This whole movie is just one really sad story, and it's even worse when you realize everything that happened in this movie, for the most part, is true. There's a little bit of dramatization here and there, but
Mhm.
yeah,
And that it's just one of the stories of the same kind that is being told, um and like you said, it's not like it is very graphic, but it could have been more. Like they still, made it, they still softened a little bit of it to make it a watchable film, right? Like to make you not want to just turn it off because it's just so horrible and tragic. But the message still got across, and I think the way that they chose to show the violent scenes was done very well and very respectfully to the story. I feel like they didn't go overboard with like dramatizing the violent parts. Like I feel like they did it in the best way that they could
Mhm.
with a story like this. I feel like it was well handled. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. It definitely was a shocking watch. It was disturbing and it was tough to get through. I found myself constantly pausing it because I kept like feeling so anxious that like I felt like I couldn't breathe. So I needed to take a pause because of how anxious and how mad I was getting from just watching this movie, which it's exactly what it's trying to do. It's trying to show you this incredibly upsetting story and it does it perfectly. It tells you everything that you need to know and it shows it to you in a horrific way, but in a way that it's still watchable, which is shocking that they found that middle ground in any way, shape, or form. And I really appreciate it for doing that. And I just feel like this movie is one of those movies that everyone needs to watch at some point. Like everyone
Mhm.
should sit down and watch Rosewood at some point just to understand like how hard the black like history has been and how hard it's been for black Americans and to try to like you are doomed to repeat history when you don't know of it. So people need to watch it so that they understand how hard like it's been for black Americans and why things are the way that they are and why the things that are happening right now in America are so fucked and we are like unfortunately like it's looking like we're doomed to repeat history and I need people to watch this movie just to understand like the struggles of other people and the struggles of marginalized communities and it's an important story that needs to be told and then like I wouldn't say like make children watch this movie, but it's definitely a story that everyone needs to know at some point. And for that, I give it its flowers, absolutely. But yeah, as I said, it gave me so much anxiety, so much anger. I just it was like overwhelming. It truly was like incredibly overwhelming which you know it's exactly what it's trying to do. So good job.
Like after watching this, The Color Purple is low key like a cozy watch. You know what I mean? Like in comparison,
Yeah,
I'm like that's a low key. You know, not
yeah,
not that it's not also like horrible and tragic, but it's just like in comparison to this, I'm like I can
there,
sit and watch The Color Purple again and like not like now that I've seen it the first time, like I know it's I can still like watch it again and be okay. Like yeah, there's like the harder moments of it, but there's still enough like more joyful like as much as it can be like parts, you know, like the relationship between the sisters, and like we get more of joy, of black joy as well as the tragedy. Like we get a little bit of both, and here we kind of get like a little bit of joy in the beginning, like when we're being presented to the town, right? Because they start with like a beautiful shot of the town, and then we see the people like living in harmony and all of that, you know, to the point that they could back then, right? And I feel like this is where the movie is really successful, is that they make us care about the characters so much that even though it's really hard to watch what is happening, we care about the characters, that we want to know what happens to them, because we just like, you know, like Aunt Sarah, oh my god, like bless that woman. I just
yeah,
like, and there's so many like different storylines and different characters that just makes it such a rich story beyond the tragic of it,
yeah.
all the
What I will,
relationships and everything. Yeah.
what I will say specifically when like comparing like specifically The Color Purple and Rosewood, when it comes to like tragic black stories, I feel like in Color Purple I had a little bit more hope. I felt a little bit more hopeful. And in this one, there were moments in which I was like, we're gonna lose. There is no coming back from this. There is no winning here. We have lost, and there is nothing I can do. And so it's a very different type of tragedy for me. Because in The Color Purple, as I said, I had hope. Constantly kept thinking like, she's gonna get out, she's gonna get out, she's gonna get out. And here, of course, I was like, I want them to get out. I want them to make it out and survive and like be able to tell this story. But there were a lot of moments in which I genuinely thought there is no way. I've lost all hope. All humanity has been lost. There is no good in humanity anymore. We are just evil beings that are just torturing each other. So it's a very different type of like devastation between the one and the other movie. And I think what makes it even more devastating is, as we've said, the fact that it is a true story and that people did go through this and that this genuinely did happen. It just makes me so angry to think that like this happened to people. Like there were just black people living their lives, and just one lie from one woman just murdered a bunch of lives and just destroyed a whole community. And it just gets me so angry.
Yeah.
This movie, you know what? Quickly, one thing this movie made me think is how intersectionality is important, because Fanny is giving white feminism. You know what I mean? Like it's like she didn't know how to handle, because she didn't have any power over the man that did what he did to her, right? Mm-hmm. So she didn't know how to handle her own tragedy and her own pain. So she decided to put that on someone else.
Hold on. Wait, hold on. Let me back that up just a little bit, because she had all the power. I will disagree with you on that one, because over the man. Because here's the thing: Fanny let that man in her house. Fanny openly accepted.
I mean, after he beat her.
Even then, Fanny, this man would never have been able to hit her. She was a married woman cheating on her.
If she wasn't, yeah.
So if she never opened her house to this man, and then get mad because the man is who she cheating with is cheating with somebody else. On her. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hello. First of all, so I have no sympathy, no power. That woman had all the power and she held it and she knew exactly what she was doing with her power.
Mhm.
She invited that man into her house. He didn't walk into her house willingly and just rape her. She was willingly open for him to be there. So she had all the power. So she's not the victim at all. There is no.
No. That's not what I meant. Because I don't. Because I'm with you on that. Okay.
I know that was not what you meant.
Yeah,
I'm saying my thing. She is never the victim. She is always the problem, and she started this whole thing by being the problem. Even I would put the man who she was cheating with more of a victim than she is, because she invited all of this. She invited that man into her home. She cheated with him willingly. She opened herself up to this, and then because she didn't want to face her husband, who to say she was cheating, she decided to lie.
Yeah, and can I just add in on that too? James is like the only white person in this movie that, even other than Jon Voight's character, like he is the only person in this movie that I even this much can look at and say, you have some semblance of something beneath you.
Oh, the husband?
Yeah, the husband. Because I look at this man and I go, okay, your wife, you didn't know she cheated on you, and you think that she got raped and beat by a black man, even though she clearly says she didn't get raped, and the whole town is the reason that that narrative is going around.
I believe that she was like, it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
She didn't say rape. She said beat up. But okay.
That's what she said, but the town took it whatever way. But I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because she lied about it anyway, and that's what caused everything to spread around. I wanted this man to take that gun in the house and shoot her in the face. I don't care. I don't care.
No, wait, when he went back, like in the end, when he went to the house, I was like, yes, get her, Jade, get her.
No,
yes.
I wanted him to go. I wanted him to kill her. And I want to be clear.
He probably did.
Clear, okay?
He probably did.
I am not advocating for murder, like just in general. Okay, I'm not. But at the end of the day, this woman caused the death of, from what it looks like in the movie, hundreds of people, right? And
well, they said in the end that it was 8, but hundreds of like people that were affected.
That was recorded was 8.
Oh,
but
I see.
The people, the survivors say it was probably about 40, 50 people.
Oh, okay.
Minimum. Like
minimum.
Anywhere from 40 to 50 up to 150, right?
Okay.
And when I think about that, right? And we see people die in this movie constantly in the back half, right? Like, I feel like the train scene is something that we kind of like ignore in terms of like the deaths that are happening there, right? Mm-hmm. You see all of these black men who aren't allowed on the train, right? They're chasing this train, and you, at the same time, like you get it, you want them to get it out. You want them to be able to escape this terrible situation that none of them are responsible for, because the situation that Fanny is saying happened didn't fucking happen, right? Mm-hmm. So you look at all of these men, you're like, I want you to be able to get out of this situation. But at the same time, I want
you can't get on this train
to be able to get out of this situation. So
these children didn't deserve this either. So they can't. Yeah. You get on here, you're causing them to be in more trouble.
And you see, we see, man is like shooting some of the white people that are chasing the train, and you see that, and you're like, okay, sure, cool. But there's a lot of black men that are chasing that train that just get shot by the white people that are also chasing that train.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And that, compared to some of the other murders and lynchings that we're seeing throughout this movie, it's almost glossed over. But at least in terms of me watching this movie, I almost don't think about it in the moment, because it's like you're holding your breath, waiting to see if the people on the train, the kids and the women on the train, are going to get out. Mm-hmm. But you can't not think about it at the same time. Right. It's this big ball of stress. And I specifically want to mention the moment in this movie that both times I've watched this movie, this is the time I always kind of have to turn my head a little bit. It's like a 2-second screen flash, right? Where you see this burned, charred up tree, and there's a man hanging from that tree that is just as burned and charred up. Don't know what character it is. It's never specified, right? All we know is this is a lynched man who was then lynched, and the tree got lit on fire to the point where his body is basically the same color as the bark of the tree. I can't look at that. Like, and there's multiple people in this movie we see getting hanged, shot, lynched in some manner or fashion. That one image is enough for me to like not be able to think about anything positive for a long time. And it's only on screen for like 2 seconds. Like, they don't hold on it. They don't like zoom in on anything. It's just there. It's just part of the background. And like, I hate to say this, it's the rough equivalent of set dressing to the average movie, right? But when you zoom the camera out, not literally, but like mentally, right? You mentally zoom out, right? How many more people are we not seeing in this shot, right? How many more people have been lynched, shot, hung, what have you, in this movie that we don't get to see? We just find a dead body. There's just somebody dead on the side of the road. Like, how did
the scene of Mr. Right, like when he's going back home in the end, and then he passes by Jules's body, like, oh my god, that was
the named characters in this movie that die were closer to. So, like, specifically when Aunt Sarah gets shot, like, that's the moment that it's supposed to hit.
Yeah.
But honestly, it hits me
and
more
it does.
when these, like, okay, obviously, this is not me trying to deny anything about her or any of the other named characters we see in this movie. The unnamed characters that get murdered kind of hit me more a little bit in this, because it's so needless. Like, this whole situation is so needless.
So avoidable, like easily avoidable. Because you know what makes me, like, because everything about this movie makes me so mad, right? The story, not the movie, but the story, about the story. But
if you're about to say what I think you're about to say, I'm about
the sheriff, the fucking sheriff that has no fucking spine. Oh my god. Like, okay. Because, when Fanny accuses of what happened, lies, his gut, he immediately doesn't believe it. He doesn't believe, because he's like, he knows her, right? And he asks her, are you sure? Are you sure it was a black man? And she says yes. And he chooses to believe her because he actually didn't. And then he says it in the end. He says to her husband, he goes to James and he says, I didn't believe her from the beginning. But it, like, to let all of that happen because you couldn't stick to your guns, like, what? Like, it's just because she, like you said, like, she had power. So, but she only had power if people believed her. If people didn't believe her, it wouldn't have mattered. None of this would have happened, right? But people believed her because someone confirmed her story. Like, maybe if the sheriff would have not believed her, maybe people would still like run around telling the story and whatever, and people would still go. But the fact that the sheriff backed it up made it so much worse and gave it validity in a way in the head of those people. Right?
Here's the validity though. They believed it because she was white. It didn't matter.
They wanted to believe it as well.
They believed it because she was white. It didn't matter. And because she said the one thing that they wanted to hear. A nigger beat me up. That's all they needed to hear in that time. And unfortunately, the sad part about it is it's still happening today.
Oh, yeah.
All they need to do is hear that a black man did something to a white woman, and we do a whole mob mentality on this black man or a black woman or just being black, period, or not white. Just being non-white. We still do that today. It only takes one person to say, a one white person to say this black person, this brown person. Now it's the Hispanics. We are bad at the Hispanics now. So now Hispanic people, if we say a Hispanic person did something, oh, they're illegal, they shouldn't be here, we need to kick them all
Hispanic,
out.
just
And so
Latinos, because Spanish people are fine. Spanish people are fine, you know.
Hispanic, if you look,
if you aren't white,
if you aren't white,
if you don't look white.
And I want to just go ahead and say this, right? As the only person in this conversation that is a white person, let me just acknowledge a couple things real quick. One, this country is systemically built around whites being above every other racial group in it. Let's just make that clear, okay? If you don't agree with that, you are either too young to know better, or you are living in the dark and you choose not to believe it. Okay, there is a reason that out of the 47 different presidential terms in the United States, different times people have held office in the United States, we've had a change. We've only had one black president. There's a reason that to this day, and I say one black president, I should also say one president of color, period. Every other president in the history of this country was a white man. Okay, it took years for us to see a black person on the Supreme Court, for us to see women on the Supreme Court, for us to see Latin people on the Supreme Court. I'm still not entirely sure how long it's going to take for us to get anything else other than a white man back in the White House. I think Obama was a miracle set of circumstances for that to happen. Coming off of unpopular Bush terms to him being the groundswell candidate that got a lot of people to go to the polls versus an establishment older Republican white man who had picked one of the worst running mates in the history of the U.S. presidency as his vice president. And as much as I love Obama and I appreciate a lot of what that man did in office, I have to acknowledge the fact that his election was a miracle.
Right? Absolutely.
Yeah. Looking out at where we are at as a country right now, right? When we compare this set of circumstances, like again, this was 1923 is when this movie is set. 1923 is 2026. You tell me, besides tech, what has changed?
What has changed here in the not in like the like, because it's not because okay, it's still the mentality is still the same. We don't see it, it doesn't manifest exactly in the same way, but it is still very similar. Like we don't see as much because we still see it sometimes, the lynching, right? As much as because back then it was very common. Children watched, like
they had, that's where picnics came from.
Right. The scenes, okay, that's one thing about this movie. The scenes of them making the children participate and watch. God.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I want to give a special shout out real quick here to some of the worst characters in any movie I have ever seen. Duke.
Ooh,
I know men
like that. On Duke.
I know men like that. Like, and I'm not going to say the making a child watch a lynching type of men, but this is going to make you a man, and it's just inherently like something terrible and awful and garbage. Props to the child, because I like by the end of that movie, because that takes a lot. Like he's like 12 or 13 and he's getting out of that situation. Hell yeah.
I love that scene. Yeah. And saying to his dad, "You are not a man. I don't know what you are, but you're not he ate. He ate with that.
But like I don't you know how when we compare movies, a lot of the time we have to think about what does this movie make you feel like, right? How do you feel after watching this movie compared to another movie, right? After I watch The Color Purple, I can kind of like breathe and I can kind of like feel okay, because even if Celie went through all of these hard times and all of this horrible, horrible life, she has finally gotten to a place that is good and safe and happy with her sister and her children again, right? There's nothing good and happy about the ending of this movie. And it wants to leave you with that sense of like, well, at least a few people made it out, and people are okay. Some people are okay, but a lot of people aren't. And just because they made it out of this situation, what's going to stop them from being in another situation? Gainesville is not this
What guarantees that they're not going to?
hub of the
It's not going to
world.
happen again.
Yeah. What guarantees this isn't going to happen again? Right?
Yeah,
Nothing. There's
because
nothing
it did happen. It happens again and again and again and again because it just. Yeah. And why this doesn't feel happy, because there was no happy ending. Rosewood was gone. That city is gone, and that city was gone, and they just totally took that whole community and demolished it, burned it to the ground, dislocated. Everybody else they had to go somewhere else and find new places to stay because they didn't have a place to come home to. So, and it's like, that's not just Rosewood. That's several cities, and it all stems from jealousy. It all stems from
the scene of the piano burning. Yes. After hearing the guy say that, like, how dare that man have a piano and I don't. Mm-hmm.
Because they say things like, we want you, well, go build your own country, go build your own neighborhood, go do this, go do that. And then when they do, white people who are jealous because they are taught their entire life that you are better, you are superior, you are supposed to have more. And then when you see a thriving community that is not a white town and is not run by white people, and they're saying they're thriving, they're doing their best life, they have pianos and houses and nice clothes and good food and da-da-da. And they were like, well, we living like squalors. That's your fault because you don't know how to do nothing. You know why you don't know how to do nothing? Because you had slaves do everything for you. And now you don't know how to do it.
You don't even know how to play the piano.
You don't know how to play. He's like, I don't care. I just think he shouldn't have one. And that is the mentality of a lot of people, even today. Why you had this? You shouldn't have this. You shouldn't be better than me. And so now, instead of trying to do better, I'm just going to take what you have because you don't deserve it.
It's kind of like, how dare you succeed when I took everything from you?
Yes.
And made you start from the beginning so many times, but you're still better than me. Like, I understand people, they get angry about it because it's like, yeah. And what are we going to do about it? We can start over how many ever times it's needed. And it's the colonizer mind of like when they discovered the Americas and they think that they brought civilization to us when we already had our own way to live. And anyway, so it's very that, like, how dare these quote unquote savages that they couldn't survive without us, but it's quite the opposite, right? Because like, who had slaves? Who actually did the work?
So if you let those people go off to do work, they'll still do work. But
if they can get the profit from their work instead of you,
they can still do the work. You, on the other hand, don't know how to do anything because you had other people do it for you.
There's a lot of things in this movie that if you aren't prepared for it, it's gonna be a hard watch. And I'm happy that
challenge
we did.
You.
Yeah. Well, I'm not even gonna say that because I think a challenging movie the first time you watch it, even if you're not prepared for it, that can be really fun, right? This movie, I'm going to be honest, this movie should not challenge you, really. I don't think it's a challenging movie. I think it's a look into not only a historical event, and it's a well-portrayed, well-acted historical movie, but also it shines a light on things that people don't want to look at. Let's just be honest.
That's what I meant with challenge. Like the people that are not like necessarily horrible people or like bigots, but they don't necessarily fight against it either. You know what I mean? Like people that are neutral or whatever, like they're not actively doing harm, but they're letting harm happen in front of them. That's what I meant.
I would rather someone
if you are that, if you're like the neutral person,
know who they are without being a bystander. You know what I mean? I look at this movie and I try to rationalize it in my brain, right? Because whenever something tragic happens, that's the first thing our minds immediately go to is trying to find a way to explain a tragedy, right? It's a psychological thing. We humans hate lack of reason, right? We want everything to have an explanation. We hate not being able to explain something. That's why we label everything, because it's convenient for our brains, because it helps us immediately know what something is. When we describe another movie to somebody, it's always, oh, it's kind of like this with a little bit of this, and it's got this one dude who played this other guy in this other movie in it. Like that's just what we do, because it's easier to do it that way than it is to try to piece it together without just looking at the pieces that are on the screen. It's so hard to look at a movie that the entire plot is devoid of reason and try to explain to someone.
No, there's just one reason. There's one
Here's
reason.
the thing. There's not, because there's like
right.
90, right? The easy
logically.
reason is saying this happened because Fanny lied. Okay, sure, right? That's why they went to Rosewood to begin with, maybe, right? That's what lit the match, right? But what was there to burn to begin with? Why? What
was fanning the fire? Right?
Not even that. What could the match light on fire to start? Right? Because the fire was started. I'll be honest. The match got lit by Fanny, right? But matches don't just burn things if there's nothing for the match to burn, right?
If it's moist, it won't burn.
The gasoline was racism.
Exactly.
Period.
And you zoom out, and by the end of this movie, it's a 2.5 hour movie. Like you need a minute to like breathe, because speaking from experience here, by the time the movie ends, we get that like zoomed out shot with the text over the screen explaining the historical accuracy of the film, and it starts the credits. You just need like 10 seconds to breathe, because you didn't realize you were still holding your breath. And also,
I was like, I was kind of like, I was like this. I was like the whole the whole movie.
I'd also like to note, it is a really big choice of this movie to make Jon Voight the headlining actor of the credits. I just want to say that. Even at the time when Jon Voight wasn't a swear word yet, making Jon Voight the top billed actor in this movie in the credits, a very big choice.
Yeah.
You could have convinced me it was Ving Rhames. You could have convinced me it was maybe Don Cheadle. Otherwise, not buying
it. Unfortunately, there's this thing in Hollywood that they need the white savior, and they have a white savior complex. And even in Black films, you have to have that white savior complex. And for whatever reason, Jon Voight's character was supposed to be that, but in actuality, watching the film, it's like, was he really though? Or was he part of he was part of the problem, but in
Did he play Mr. Right?
Yeah. Mr. Right. He was like, I think Ving Rhames said it best. He was the master of Rosewood, because he was
and Sarah says he's halfway a decent white man, if there is
anyone. Right. And so that's what he was. Like, he wasn't one to, he knew he needed that business. His business was the Black people in that community. He knew he needed them to be there. He knew he needed them so he can make his money. And that's how he became rich. So he wasn't going to be that one to blatantly call them the N-word to their face. He wasn't going to be blatant about his racism. Was he still a racist? Absolutely. But did he put it on Front Street? No, because he needed that black dollar. And so he wasn't going to do that. But what he did was he framed it as, oh, I'm here and trying, I'm here helping you get the stuff you need for your, I'm the store. I give you the food and all the other things that you need. I provide that for you. So he was the decent white man. And then at the end, even when he was being tested and pushed to like where that mob was coming for him, it really wasn't him that was standing up because he gave that man to them. He literally was like, because he had no choice, because he was trying to protect his business. He gave him Julia's dad. It was like, because you just go talk to him, right? Knowing that wasn't going to happen. There was no way. You knew that wasn't going to happen. The savior of this story was his wife, Mary, who actually stood up to the mob herself.
And pointed the gun at them and said, I will do it.
I will do it. And use her privilege for good, because she knew she had that white woman privilege, and was like,
when she said you're gonna shoot a white woman to find out.
And that's what I'm saying. You use your, and that is all we are saying to white people. You have a privilege. You want to be an ally. You want to be somebody who we look to and say, you cool. Use your privilege that you have to be the voice when we can't speak, because guess what? It's going to be times when we can't. They don't listen to us anyway. They don't hear what we're saying when we're screaming. We go out in the street and protest, they shoot us first. We go and be peaceful, they still shoot us again. We sit back, now we still not doing enough. So we need it. And then white people are like, well, y'all not stepping up. We stepped up. We showed you what to do. All we need you to do is do it. And that is what she did. She stood at the front line with her gun out and was like, listen, you go shoot me? Y'all will have to go through me. You protecting all the you. This whole thing is for protecting the white woman, right? So you go shoot me, a white woman, to get through and find out what we got in the house. I felt like she was the true white savior of this story, if we wanted to be honest. But he was definitely out to be that. And in that time, when this movie came out, some studios don't want to produce black films. Even John Singleton Films, they don't want to put that out there when it's not especially one with this heavy of a thing. So they needed Jon Voight to be the headliner for studios to be like, okay, we'll look at it.
Well, they didn't have the white woman be the savior. They needed it to be a man.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the obvious thing that we probably should discuss when it comes to Jon Voight, because I will never let this man speak if I talk about him in a movie. Jon Voight used to be up until 2016 a like extremely liberal, like marching against the Vietnam War. Like that was his character, and that's what we knew him as an actor. But the thing is, he was playing these like rough, like John Wayne type characters in a lot of movies, but he was like the antithesis of the John Wayne political perspective in every way. And that's why a lot of people liked him, right? Mm-hmm. Then Trump gets elected and he does a complete 180.
Like a lot of people. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it was really surprising to see specifically Jon Voight do it. And I'm going to say that for me. Because Scott Baio becoming a MAG, I don't care. I don't know who you are. I don't like you. Whatever. Cool. And plenty of other people that did the same thing. Dean Cain, like, sure, bye. But Jon Voight was still doing things in Hollywood at the time. He was still, like, relevant, even not to the same success as he was in the 90s and 80s and early 2000s, but he was still, like, doing well. And when that happened, it kind of caught me off guard. I'll be honest. And seeing where he's at now, because now he is the Trump cabinet appointed ambassador to Hollywood, which is not a thing. It's absurd because John, like, I can't. It just makes me really upset. Because I used to really like Jon Voight and what he stood for and who he was as a human being. And it feels really awful now, pulling back and seeing him. Because I'm just going to be real, we're going to be talking about another Jon Voight film in like a month and a half. So another movie he's in. So when we get to that, I'm going to bring it up again. I will never let this man rest. Let me put it that way. Getting back on topic, though, I do think something that is important to talk about here is the different reactions that the different people in Rosewood have when Sam is lynched. We have that meeting in the church, and they're all trying to talk about what they should do. And Sylvester's like, we're going to be ready, and we're going to have guns here ready to go whenever they get here. And the preacher's kind of like completely antithetical to that. And you see different people are reacting differently. And I can't fathom where my head would be in that situation.
I thought that it was really, I don't know the word. I don't know if ironic is the word, but it's interesting. I'll use the word interesting. How the preacher's instinct was to immediately accuse Mr. Man. He's like, oh, but he's new here. Maybe it was him. You know, like he chose to believe that maybe it was a black man that did it. He's like, you know what? Maybe it was because we don't know him. You know, and I thought that was interesting. What I also thought was interesting was Mr. Wright being asked to leave so that they could actually talk because, like, they know the black people knew that he's an ally to a certain point, but not really. But not really. And one of my favorite scenes is when he goes outside. Mr. Man also says, like, I just came from a war. I'm not looking for another one. And he leaves, which I understand. I understand. But when they're outside and
they just accused him of being the person.
But he also realized that they could easily turn on him after the preacher said that it could have been him. So he's like, I'm not 100% safe here. They can turn on me eventually. So I understand. But what I want to talk about is the scene where he and Mr. Wright were talking, and then Mr. Wright's kind of like calling him a coward for leaving. And then he says that he ate so hard with this one. He said, how long have you lived here? And Mr. Wright said 9 years. And then he said, well, I've been here one night and they asked me to stay. Pack your bags and leave and see who asks you to stay. Girl, 8.
Gag his ass.
Gag him a bit for sure.
Yeah.
That was so good.
Can I ask, when we talk about Aunt Sarah getting shot, because that's like the emotional gut punch near the beginning of the movie. I'm going to say this, as much as, you know, we talk about every character in this movie, all of their deaths are awful and terrible and needless and stupid. But do you see how the mob reacts to that versus how they react to everyone else? I think they had kind of, I mean, I don't think it's kind of, I think they just had this idealized mindset of hers, of who she was as a person. And again, I don't even think it was really all that idealized. She seemed like a lovely human from every interaction we saw of her in this movie. But she's trying to talk down this mob and they just keep shouting over her and they're not letting her speak. And she's just trying to say, like, you know me, you know who I am. I birthed half of you. I was your midwife, you know, like what she is to not only just the Rosewood community, but to the Sumner community as well. And I'm going to be honest, the first time I watched this, I had about this much hope, that maybe she could get through to somebody, right? Maybe. I like that they don't show her getting shot. And I think if they had shown it, I think it might
like
not have
who
hit
did
us.
it, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah. We don't need to know who shot her. We can infer who it was based on the fact that this man shot like
Duke.
A dog, horse,
Yeah.
like he wanted when he shot that fucking dog. Oh my god! Because it's just like, just because he was barking, it's just like because it's just because it's bothering me. I don't like it, so I'm gonna shoot it. Okay. Oh, another scene when he went to shoot the horse. So when they got Mr. Man and they hung him and he was sitting on the horse, that scene was so impactful to me. Like, it showed the heart of both characters, with when Duke says that he's gonna shoot the horse because the horse won't move, right? So they can hang him. And then knowing that it will cause him to hang himself, Mr. Man chooses to save the horse's life and makes the horse run away, even knowing that's gonna be, so like it just shows, I don't know, it just shows like the humanity in Mr. Man, and it just shows that it doesn't matter what people have put you through, you can still choose to be kind, and you can still choose to be good, even when you're going through like the worst thing imaginable. Like I just the fact that he chose to save the horse's life was just really impactful to me. Because like he knew he was gonna die anyway, so he was like, it's either I save the horse and I die, or like we both die. Because if they shot because he knew, well, eventually he didn't. He was able to save himself, like in case that he wouldn't. He preferred, like, I don't know, making that choice in that moment shows courage in a way.
Yeah, I will also say, since we're talking about like moments that really hit, all of like on Sarah and the horse with the lynching are all like very impactful scenes as well. But for me, one scene that really hit to me was when they show the mass grave and Emmett starts crying and Duke tells him like, what are you crying for? You're not a man. And he says, there are babies in there. There are fucking babies in there. And Duke slaps him and tells him, that doesn't matter. That does not matter. That just shows you like the evil, how deep it runs in
And
these
that is
people.
taught.
And that is taught, and how like just it really hit me, because it really shows you like how hate is taught to young people, how it spreads, and how no one is safe from it, even babies. You could have just been born and you're not safe from the hate that other people have just because your skin has a little bit more melanin than other people. It infuriated me so much, because also the disrespect, just shove them all into one massive grave and just like dump them in there. The
We also need to think about
disrespect.
that mixed in with the two kids that get away from the group when the church bells start ringing.
Mhm.
The one guy that's like, he just says the N-word that I do not have the, nope, not gonna say it ever. He's riding at him towards a horse on their gun. These are like 6-7-year-old children. These are
Mhm.
little kids. Mr. Man's just there and he shoots the guy, right? But in that moment, like, because I will say, up until this point, we haven't seen them shoot a kid. We've seen them shoot and hang, and like it just goes to show how depraved these people really are, right? Like it builds upon everything else we've already seen. But when we like, there's so many. Just watch this movie. Is all I'm gonna say. I don't think I have the ability to articulate everything relevant and important about what is in this film beyond telling you to go watch it. It is $3.99 to rent this movie on YouTube. It's on discount to buy it for $8. Okay, if you want to go buy this movie on YouTube for $8. You'll have it forever. It's there, and you need to see it.
Yeah.
Before we, because I feel like we're going towards wrapping up, but one thing that I wanted to say, because we are talking about how like all of the horrific stuff, but the little bit of hope that I felt in the movie was when Mr. Man was able to free himself. Like that was also really impactful to me. And in the scene where he's coming back, like he escapes and he finds the horse, and then when he's like coming back to reunite with the family, it's just like the shape of him and the horse, and in the back is just like the town burning. Like it is a horrible situation, but like the cinematography of that scene specifically is so stunning, of like him against and then reuniting with the kids and everything. It's just a really beautiful shot in the movie. I'm like trying to think of the positives. Like that's one thing that the shot that I thought was so beautiful. Like I took a picture of it because it was stunning.
If I can, I would like to talk really quickly about Mr. Man and his character because I don't know, we haven't said it. I don't know if we noticed. When he came into town, and the one thing we did see was he already had scars on his neck. He had the scars on his neck before. So when he got hung in this movie, that wasn't his first time. He had they had attempted to do this to him before. He has just been someone who has been strong enough to fight his way from doing that. And I honestly, I don't know for sure if that's the case, but I feel like he has had to practice doing that to himself, which is why his horse was so well trained. Booker T was not moving unless he told them to pull Booker T to move. And I feel like he has been hung before. I feel like he has done this. He was a soldier. He fought wars for the country that still hated him, you know. And so he has to train himself to be able to take a lot of force, brutal hurt, and a lot of stuff. So when he escaped this hanging that we saw in the movie, it was just like, you never think that somebody would have to, first of all, escape hangings. Like we don't see many stories of people escaping a hanging themselves without somebody helping them get down. If they are hung, that person is there and the people leave and that person just dies. That's the story we see. This man had to literally hold himself up. The strength that has to happen when your body is big and you have to pull yourself up, get a knife from your boot to cut your rope. That takes a lot of strength.
And then run away after being like choked.
Right. It's a lot. That takes a lot. And that's the strength that this character brought to this entire movie. He came into, and when you said about the preacher turning on him, I understand why the preacher would say that, because we don't know this person. He just rolled in town, and it's not that I can't believe you. I just believe that a black man did it. That's the story that's going around. That's the only story that's going around. This
and it happened to be on the same day. Like that happened to happen on the same day. Got there.
Like all this is lining up. So I understood why the preacher would think that, because honestly, I probably, Ricky said, I wonder what side of the boat I would be on. I would probably think that too, because it's like the stories that's lining up. You come in town, this white woman get beat up, and now we looking for black men, and she say it was the black man, and we don't know you. So who are you? But here's where the plot thickens. The man said it wasn't him and showed papers that it wasn't him, that his name is not James. He showed papers. And this is my problem, because even the white man saw the paper, read the paper, looked at the paper, saw that wasn't that man's name. And so now he's like, well, he have to be in this house with these people, because if it ain't him, he know. And that is where the people lose the plot, and these mob mentality lose the plot, because they were looking for one person. But because they couldn't find that one person, they just decided to kill everybody, because they thought, you know who, because of course we all know each other. Everybody black must know the other black person in the town. It's not a big town, so you know who everybody is. And the man, Sam, when Sam took that man in, because he was a Mason, trying to do right and help this white man, that white man took himself, walked right out of that place when they were dragging Sam out, and kept on going. And they wonder why black people had a problem trusting white people at that time. Because I helped you, and you in turn just let me be God.
But it was Aaron, right? Aaron helped. Sam told Aaron not to help and said that it was dangerous. He knew.
Aaron.
He knew.
Sam knew. Aaron knew. Was trying to help this white man who
decided to trust the white man instead of Sam. Okay.
Locked up and beat up, and then Sam killed. Because, and you know what that white man did? He walked right on out and kept on going, act like he ain't know nothing. And it's just, it was just this, as hard as this movie is to watch, I recommend you watch it. Not just for just because it's a hard movie. But I feel like movies like this could like change your mindset, change the way your brain functions when it comes to seeing people and what you just instantly believe, because your instincts tell you to believe stuff. Sometimes our instincts are wrong. We like to trust our gut a lot, and sometimes our gut is right. But sometimes our instincts are biases. Sometimes our instincts are biases. And if you know the character of the person who you're getting a story from, if your friend is a known liar, you know she lies or you know he lies. You know your best friend lie about everything. She'll lie about the sun shining. She'll lie about the color being green of the grass. She'll lie about the taste of sugar. It ain't sweet, it's bitter. She will lie about everything. But then she comes to you and say, this person, this black man raped me. Is your first instinct to believe your lying best friend because you want to believe your lying best friend? Or because you want to believe that a black man will actually do that?
It's because you already believe that black men are evil.
Exactly.
And
that's
are
what
the people that would do that, right?
So we need to know the source, and we need to trust our own instinct. And well, just know the source before we be like, yeah, he did it. That's the same mentality I get when people be like, when they see a police brutality caught on camera, I'm like, well, I want to know the whole story. Was he resisting? Did he not like go? But we just saw this police officer brutally shoot a man 9 times. I don't care if he resisted arrest 12 times. Did he deserve to be shot 9 times? So that's the mentality I get. I want people to just watch movies like this to maybe change the way we think about people and instinctively thinking that they're bad people for whatever reason. It's about the character of a person. Aunt Sarah, everybody knew her character. Everybody knew her. She was a sweet woman. She ain't do nothing to nobody. She ain't never hurt nobody. She never lied on nobody. She never did nothing to nobody.
She died because she told the truth.
And she came out to tell you the truth, and you shoot her because she told you the truth when you already knew the truth. When the sheriff told the person, James, you know your wife. You know your wife, she been cheating with half this town know it. Half the town benefited from it. And they were all like, yup. So half y'all just slept with this woman. But y'all just go believe.
Yeah, and I can't express how much we haven't changed. I want that to be clear, right? It's 2026.
Just adapted. Just morphed.
It's 2026. This happened 103 years ago. The names change, the faces change, but nothing else really does. The overall name of what we're doing is a little bit different now, but it's still the same crap. Like, in every facet of the word, look at everything to do with race in the United States, and you will see countless things that are the exact same as in this movie. And I think we need to be abundantly clear that this movie, and I'm going to say in this one circumstance, you can't really pull this movie out of its message, but I do want to be clear. Even aside from its message, this is a very well acted movie in terms of a composition of a film. The score is really good. The cinematography is fantastic.
When it comes to technical stuff about
when it comes
film,
to the technicalities of this film, this is also just a really well put together movie. And I think that is something we should also note, because a lot of this movie, pretty much this entire video has been discussing the content, because you can't really separate this from the content. But if you are somebody who can get through, I'm not even gonna say that. If you are someone who just needs something, right? Just watch this movie, period. I don't even think if you need something, just watch this, because if you're over the age of 13, I think you should see this movie. And I think, this movie was rated R. And I'm of the opinion that we should get rid of the rating system, but that's an entire side point. 2, this is a movie that should not be a rated film. I don't think there is something that I would consider an appropriate age to talk about things like this, because why would we age gate this movie when this is just the lived experience of a group of people? This is what they went through, right? We didn't age gate the massacre, clearly. So just go watch this movie. It is available and out there. And by the time you're done with it, I hope it has given you a different perspective on race in the United States and what we need to do to grow as people and as a country to try to make things better in the future. Because until we try to change something, nothing is going to change.
Right. And I think one thing that this movie makes me think about a lot, like when I think about the situation right now, because back then it was different and it was, I would say, harder to be a true ally. Like, for example, for Mr. Right, like, yes, he could have done a lot more, but he still tried to do what he could, right? It just an important reminder that silence is complicity. Like, if you hear someone say something racist around you that you know and you don't speak up, you're making it easier for them. You're making it easier. You're not necessarily part of it actively, but if you just let it happen in front of you, if there's no pushback, it's just going to get worse. So I know it's hard. I know it's scary. I know it's difficult, but no one said it would be easy. And if it's difficult for people who are allies, just imagine how hard it is for people that are actually part of the community. And then you're like, oh, actually, it's not so bad. So yeah, speak up and do something, not just words, but like actually do something. Like be merry. In this world, be merry.
Well, I think I'm going to say this. Anybody have anything else they would like to add, with the note that I think we've kind of said the same takeaway at the end of this a few times throughout the video?
There's a small thing, and it's quickly. It doesn't take away from the movie for me. I just feel like the movie didn't need the plot line of Mr. Man and what's her name? Scrappy. The woman. Scrappy. Like, it doesn't take away from the movie, but I don't feel like it was needed. And for me, I don't feel like it added anything. Like, I could have gone without that, but it's whatever. But
yeah. I think I disagree a little bit. I think it needed it a little bit to show Mr. Man's vulnerable side,
a different
softer
side, yeah.
A different side of him.
I just wish they did that in a different way. I don't need.
The one thing I did, I was like, oh, I didn't realize I forgot that she was 17.
17, yeah,
like,
that's the only thing.
But I also understand back in that time, 17 was considered very much.
That's why it doesn't take away from me, because I'm like, I know the context, like, yeah, right. But I just like, it didn't.
It's the 1920s.
Right.
Like, so, it's the 1920s.
At least she was 17 and not like 11. You know what I mean? Like
come on, yeah. It's been worse. But exactly. But I also think that I think that story was important because it was the first time Mr. Man felt like he could put down roots. And she was one of the reasons why he was ready to put down roots, because he was a traveler. He was a man who was always moving from town to town and whatever. And meeting Scrappy was a reason. And this family gave him a feeling like, you know what, maybe I can settle down. Maybe this is the place I can put down roots. Maybe Rosewood is the community that I could buy some land, get a wife, have some chilling, and move on. Yeah. And so I felt like that story was important for that moment. Did it? I mean, if they took it away, it wouldn't have. We wouldn't have missed
the movie wouldn't be missing anything if it wasn't there.
But I feel like this was the sweet moment that we needed in a movie, because this movie was so heavy and it was so hard. We needed that moment of, ooh, okay, that scene with him and her was having a little picnic and they were sitting, it was like, oh, that's sweet. That's a moment. That's nice. It gave us a breather from the foolishness that was before it and then right after it. So I think it was needed for a breather. But yeah. Other than that, yeah.
Yeah. So are we ready for scores?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Lana has already made it abundantly clear this month, but I'll let you say it anyway. Just for
It will be
people at home.
5. It's always 5. I don't pick movies I don't like. So it's going to be a 5 every time. And this movie, as hard and as heavy as it is, the story was told so well. The acting in this movie was done so well. It made me love the people who I needed to love. It made me hate the people who I needed to hate. It made me despise the people I needed to despise. So it did its job as a movie. Is it hard to watch? Yes, because it's so tragically true. And it's so, I didn't realize how much it affected me until watching it again. And I'm like, this is why I don't watch this movie often, because it affects me so deeply. I am going to have to go watch something very pleasant after I finish this recording, because I can't go to bed. I can't go to bed on this. So,
after this, I'm going to watch Don Cheadle and Hotel for Dogs, because that will.
I'm just going to watch
cool.
something very nice after this. But yeah, it's my. I still think this was a very well done movie, and it deserves its flowers. Even if it didn't get in the box office, it deserves its flowers.
Well, I went back and forth on my score of this movie throughout the video. I came into it ready to give it 4.5 stars, and I've thought about it, because I didn't want to immediately put it in a spot, and that's kind of why I put 4.5 on it to begin with. I wanted to give my time to process it and talk about it. But I think my big takeaway from this is this: I wouldn't, if I was rating this movie purely on enjoyability, it'd be 0. This is not an enjoyable film. Like, you don't come out of this movie like, wow, this was an amazing movie that I need to go watch again. Like, I don't want to watch this again. Not anytime soon, at least. But when I think about, should people watch this? Absolutely go watch this movie. And as such, I gave it 5 stars. That's just where I'm at with it. River, would you like to go next?
So, this is a horrible story, but it's an incredible movie. So, like, when you were saying, like, did I enjoy this? Did I enjoy watching this movie? Did it feel enjoyable? No, but it's not what the movie was trying to do. Mm-hmm. This movie is not trying to make me feel good. And I always rate the movies on, there is my, like, how much I liked it is part of it, but mostly it's what was this movie trying to do, and did it achieve what it was trying to do? Mm-hmm. And this movie achieved everything that it was trying to do, and incredibly. So I also give it a 5 out of 5. Mm-hmm. Do I want to rewatch this many times? No.
Absolutely not.
I put it in the same space as, like, Schindler's List, City of God, Carandiru, which is about a prison massacre in Brazil that's also a true story. Like, so it's. Do I enjoy watching those movies? No. Are they absolutely incredible? Yes. So.
All right, Eduardo, let people know where you're at.
Yeah, I had a difficult time rating this movie because it was such a hard watch. It was so unenjoyable. I was so miserable watching it that, like, at first I was like, I cannot bring myself to give it 5 stars. But then I kept thinking about it, and, like, it's telling the story that needs to be told. And like Brooke said, it is a movie that everyone needs to watch. Like, it's just a movie that needs to be experienced just to understand the experience of the Black American and the history of it. And it is an important story. And with such an important story, I think it is important for me to give it its props, even though, like, I kept, like, wanting to lower it just because I wouldn't rewatch it. But, like, it's unfair for me to take away any points just because I wouldn't rewatch it, just because it did its job so well. Like it did what it had to do so well that I don't want to rewatch it, and I cannot, for the life of me, like take away points because it did its job too well. So that's why
We did
I
that for
will
Pink
all.
Flamingos.
Yeah, but like, this is very different.
We have done that.
This is very different, though. This is very, very
Different.
different because I feel like people need to watch this movie. I don't feel like people need to watch Pink Flamingos. You can go your life and never watch Pink Flamingos and be okay. I feel like
Actually, it would be
everyone
better
is-
off if you don't.
Don't watch Pink Flamingos, y'all. Unless
Don't
you
watch
want
Pink
to
Flamingos.
Don't do it.
and not in the
But-
like emotion, and not in like the like this kind of way that this is a disturbing movie. That is a disturbing film. Note the difference.
Yeah. So, like, you could go all your life without watching Pink Flamingos and be fine. I feel like you need to watch Rosewood at some point in your life, no matter who you are, where you're from, how old you are. You have to watch it. And that's why it's so different for me. And that's why I would also give it 5 out of 5. Also, RIP, Big Baby. May you rest in peace.
So I don't want to bury the lead here, but I should note that officially makes Rosewood the second entry into the Perfect Score Club. 2 in 1 month, Lana. You really
Rightfully
ate on
so.
this one.
Good job, Lana.
Not Lana coming in and just like eating all of us up with the choices.
I love how it has literally been me, you, and Eduardo basically trading movies for what 4 months now, trying to get a perfect score, and then Lana shows up and does it twice in a month. Okay.
Okay.
Show off.
That is called black
Show off.
excellence at its finest. No,
Which is correct. That is happening right now.
No,
Yes.
Yeah.
no, because honestly, we have good movies, good, great, excellent movies. It's just looking to find them.
It's just what it is. And I am gonna have such a whiplash because what I'm like, I just watched this movie. We're doing this, and I'm gonna watch the Hugh Carnival Parade. So like, I'm going from Black Tragedy to Black Joy. Such like the big, like one extreme to the
Such a big
next.
jump.
We need to. We need
I
to.
live.
Everybody should go to Black Joy after this.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For sure. Oh.
So, speaking of joy, or should I say levity, I think would probably be a better word to use in this context. We are not ending the month on depression, y'all. We are not ending the month in sadness. We are ending the month in a good place. Thank you for that, Lana. Tell the people at home, what are we watching to end off Black History Month next week?
Oh my gosh. Next week, I'm so excited for you all to watch this movie. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but I did want to end this on such a lovely level, just a funny note. It's funny. Eddie Murphy is in this movie. You know, any movie with Eddie Murphy in it, you're going to laugh. It's going to be funny. You have Eddie Murphy, Arsenio Hall, just two funny dudes just making them. We're watching Coming to America. I'm so excited for you all to watch this. This is the original 1988 film, Coming to America. One of the funniest movies. I could watch Coming to America every time it come on.
If it's on, I'm sitting down. No matter if it's like in the beginning, the middle,
middle, end. I'm
tapped.
watching it because it's just that dang funny. It's so good. It's giving Black royalty. It's giving. It's just so funny.
It's giving Black love,
Black loyalty, hilarity. John Amos is in this movie. It's just like. Y'all, it's Samuel Jackson's one of his first roles is in this movie. It's so freaking funny. You will. I promise.
I'm so happy you chose this, and I'm so happy that at least one person here hasn't seen it
Yes.
yet. So we get at least one like first reaction because it's so good. Like it's one of my favorite movies. So
it's
good.
so good. I'm so excited.
I've not seen Coming to America.
Two of you haven't seen it.
Okay.
No, real talk.
I
have seen the first like 20 minutes of this movie. I think it was on TNT one day back in like 2013, 2014.
Probably.
And I think it was one of like, it was either the Christmas marathon or like one of those marathons that they throw on TNT on like a Saturday or like some holiday. and I was at my grandparents' house watching it, and then we left because we were like leaving the holiday, and then I just didn't have time to watch it when I got home. I have not been in a position to watch Coming to America since.
Oh.
I
I'm
liked the first
gagged.
20
Okay.
minutes, so I want to watch it again.
And the first 20 minutes is just not even the funny part.
It's not even.
I
Oh my
know.
God! It's
Just
just
not even the. Oh my God. Okay. I am so excited that
So
Eduardo and Brooke get a chance to watch this movie. I love that you are so excited, River, that you get to watch it again.
Oh my God! Because there's like a lot. There's a lot of movies that when I was younger, I would only be able to watch like these movies when they came on like open TV, like a Brazilian open television, and they were like dubbed and everything, or when they had the VHS at my English school. Then we could watch the VHS, and then it would be like in English, no subtitles, whatever. I remember watching Titanic with like the double VHS. Anyway, but I used to watch it like it came on because this is one of the movies that came on all the time on open TV. So like the late night, like after the novella ended, it was like movie time. So I watched this movie so many times because it was just really popular here. And so it's like everyone. My mom watched this movie. My grandpa, my grandfather, my grandmother, like everyone here knows this movie because it was just. It's a classic for us as well. Is what I'm saying.
And it's definitely a classic in my like you talk to Black people, they don't know Coming to America. It's like we revoke your black card if you don't know Coming to America. It's like, hello, what do you mean you don't know Coming to America? Are you crazy? So yes, I'm excited that you all get to watch it. I wanted to end the month on a high note. I wanted to end it on a much lighter note because I knew Rosewood was going to be this, and I wanted it to not be that to end it off with. So Coming to America next week. I'm so excited. I can't wait to hear both what you, Eduardo, and both what you, Brooke, are going to bring and think about this movie. And I mean, I was aiming to get a perfect score for all 4 movies, but you know, maybe 3 out of 4 won't be bad because I just got a feeling this movie might do it because it's so dang good.
We have yet to have a non-drama do it. So we'll see if a comedy can do it. Well, I mean, you've got the only 2 that have done it, Lana. It's only been Color Purple and Rosewood. So we'll see if we can get our first comedy perfect score next week. I am moderately optimistic because I do generally enjoy Eddie Murphy. So we'll see what happens. But I am going to leave our fans at home with a little bit of a teaser because, like we said, next week is our last Black History Month video before we move into March. So all I'm going to say is this. Out of the 4 movies that we have talked about this month, one of them, and I'm not going to be specific as to which one, might give you a little bit of an idea as to where we're headed in March. I'm just going to leave it at that.
I see what you did. Okay.
Find out more next week. But until next time, everybody, thank you for joining us here on Movie Bucket. We have been mentally destroyed today, but you know, we'll be back in full force next week. But until then, we have unfortunately ran out of popcorn, drank the last of our soda, and nobody ever eats more than 1 soft pretzel. So we'll see you next time, everybody, and I hope you have a good rest of your week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.